All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Making Light of It. And this is a very special episode because it is episode number 10. That's right. We added some sound effects to it and throughout the podcast. We're going to have a few of those. So 10 in Espanol.
10.
10. You are correct.
If you ever get confused, think of Diaz, the last name.
Okay,
Diaz. You can kind of put it together.
You're making an assumption that it's going to be easier for me to remember some random guy's last name as opposed to the number
Last
Diaz.
names are more common.
Your last names are more
That's
common.
true,
I don't run
very
into
true.
too many rimples that I have.
Well, not your last name, but a Diaz last name.
Actually, have you ever done? So speaking of which, okay, so my given name is Samuel Rimple.
You were given that one.
There's a couple Sam Rimples out there. Some females. There's a few of them when you do like a Facebook search. Have you ever Justin Rivera Googled yourself?
Dude, there's way too much out there.
Right, exactly. I'm always nervous about someone who's got like a seemingly common last name, and I'm trying to find them on social media and trying to follow them. I'm like, I don't think that's them. Yeah. And then, God forbid, they don't have like a regular picture of themselves.
You could be adding somebody you do not even know.
That's exactly. Yeah. Well, I don't. I'm pretty guarded by that. So in honor of episode 10, that was an awkward pause there because I was expecting for an applause. In honor of episode 10, we get it? We don't got it?
We did get it.
We did get the applause. Excellent. Okay, there we go. That's all I needed to know. I didn't hear it on this end. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear it on this end.
So this is the magic of having someone behind the scenes. So I have, and I'm going to play a little game between you and Mayor Rob.
Okay.
The top 10 fastest animals. This whole episode is going to be about animals.
Okay.
So I want to challenge you guys a little bit on that. Now, what I am doing is I am taking the fastest animal in the world off the list because I'm assuming you already know the animal is
that animal that you're thinking of.
Mayor Rob, do you know what the fastest animal on the planet is? Okay, so apparently I don't have to take it off the list. It's actually the fastest land animal. So I take because birds of the air, they can fall.
It's got to be like a leopard or a cheetah or something.
Oh my goodness, you guys are terrible. So the
cassowary.
Harken back to something that didn't happen. Inside jokes. So the fastest land animal is the cheetah. I'm taking it off the board. The cheetah can go. You didn't get it. You didn't get it.
I said a leopard or a cheetah, right?
After. So it is one leopard or cheetah. It's either a house cat or a cheetah. Cheetah can run up to 75 miles per hour. So I'm going to give you guys points based on where these things line up in the list, and you're going to just get a couple guesses to see who can get the least amount of points. So if you get something that's not on the list, I'm giving you 20 points. But you get something that's on the list, you get that number, okay? So it's like golf. The lowest score is better. Mayor Rob, I'm going to let you give your first guess. Cheetah is off the board. What do you think is one of the fastest land animals?
I'm going to go with I'll go with lion. I know that's in the same kind of category, but
so lion is actually number 6 on this list. A lion, a female lion can have bursts of up to 50 miles an hour.
Wow.
50 miles an hour.
50.
A female lion. Now, this is not good for us. When you think lion, you think raw, big mane, the big growl.
Yeah.
The male lion is 30% slower than the female lion.
Oh, man.
Yes,
They dominate there.
You would say he has no pride in his speed. Okay, so the lion is off the board. Man, Rob, you got yourself 6 points. Congratulations.
Congrats.
What's your next guess coming off the board? Top
I would
10
say
fastest land animals.
It's got to be the Roadrunner.
The Road Runner. The bird? It is nowhere on the list.
Don't they run on the ground, though?
They do run. It's not a cartoon.
Oh, it is a real thing, though, right?
Yeah, Roadrunner's a real thing. The car, awesome. awesome car, but not at all, not even on the list. Mayor Rob, you got another guess?
I'm gonna go with. It's kind of hard when you put us on the spot, but that's part of the game.
That's part of the game.
Part of the game.
That's
so
what we do around here.
Instead of trying to just stall for time, I'm just gonna say.
That's not obvious at all. No one had any idea that you were just dragging us out to guess. It wasn't like you had 3 minutes to try to come up with your second guess.
All right. I'm gonna go with the coyote.
The coyote is not on the list. You had a 20 there to your points. All right, Justin, what do you have? Your second guess.
I would give. Wow, I don't know that many animals now that I think about it.
When you really
It's
lock
like
it in,
what?
it's not so much the
Especially
animals
to
that
make
you don't know.
difference
It's
in
the
animals. You know,
with
it's
a
like
specific talent of speed.
let's say a chipmunk.
Chipmunk is not on the list. Okay, this is very black. Rob, I'm gonna give you one more guess. I'm gonna give you both one more guess and try to nail this thing down. Mayor Rob.
I'm thinking more African
Okay.
animals, so I'm gonna go with wildebeest.
The wildebeest is number 5 on the
Number
list,
5.
just slightly faster than lion. It is topped out at just over 50 miles per hour. The wildebeest is. Now, there's something about the wildebeest. They travel something crazy, like 100 miles in search of food. Like, they go nuts. They don't run 50 miles per hour for 100 miles, but they do that. That is number 5 on the list. Well done. That is. I will say this out loud, that going to the African plains was a good call.
Good call.
Okay? Now, Justin,
I don't
your
know where
last chance
half
to
of
try
these
to-
animals from the world are from in general. Okay.
Last chance to try to catch up.
Come on, Jared.
Go ahead. He's like visibly sweating over here trying to get this thing sorted
The
out.
Lion King. I mean, not Lion, but like that movie.
Okay, there
Okay.
you go. That's a great reference.
What's the deer that run in the Lion
deer,
King?
the
What
deer,
are they
the
called?
deer.
The
Okay.
ones with the antlers and the thing. You got to have that on your list there. You know. Yeah.
I need to get a little more specific on that.
I wish that I really could. It's in the deer family. It's what it looks like a deer.
It
I don't know
looks
what
like
it
a
is.
deer. It sounds like a deer.
I don't
it
know.
smells like a deer. It's
it's-
not a deer. So
You got this.
They've got. I'm just gonna say wolf.
wolf.
Just gonna say
Wolf
wolf.
is incorrect. All right, so it's not on the
Man,
list.
Rob, we
So
gotta look that up.
you
What
went
was the
over.
deer in
Here we
Lion
go.
King?
I'm going to give you the top 10 animals, top 10 fastest land animals. Coming in at number 10 is the kangaroo at 45 miles per hour.
Think of a
Kangaroo just flies. Now, one I thought you would have just defaulted to. One of you guessed coyote. Mayor Rob, you guessed coyote, right? And you guessed wolf, a dog, fastest dog in the world.
Dog. I was about to say hyena.
Greyhound, the greyhound at 46 miles
they
per
make
hour.
bus names after them.
And then, and then number 8 is the hare. So it's a specific,
Rabbit,
like the
right?
rabbit. It's not a rabbit per se. It is actually a more longer, slender
Gotcha.
thing. And then you were getting close. So the Indian antelope.
Antelope. That's why I kept saying
And that's
antlers.
why I didn't
'cause
want to
knew it was
say
on the tip
deer
of my
because
tongue.
you'll see there's a
And
whole other
antelope
few
is
options.
different.
Indian antelope again around 50 miles per hour comes in at number 7. Of course, we got the lion, the wildebeest. Mayor Rob got the middle of that.
Good job, dude.
Now we get into the equine family. Do you know what that is?
I barely could say antelope.
Horses.
Oh, okay.
And you would think that the fastest horses are the race horses. That is incorrect. The quarter horse is actually the fastest horse.
Quarter
Now,
horses.
it's for a very short distance, but
Okay.
they can get up to 55 miles per hour. They said a quarter horse.
Wow.
Can you imagine being on a horse going 55 miles an hour?
No.
Okay, and now we start getting into these African plains animals. So there's called the springbuck, which is a small gazelle, or as
Okay.
you would call it, a small deer-like creature from the African plains,
Yeah.
55 miles per hour. Now, a slightly bigger version of this is called the pronghorn. Again, another gazelle with really beautiful horns on it. Again, around 55 miles per hour. That's why I
Okay.
couldn't give it to you because there's so many.
That's fair. No, I
different
wouldn't wanted you. I
options
wouldn't
on
have
there.
wanted you to give that to me.
And you
I
know
needed to work
quite
for it.
well, I would not have given it
Yeah,
to
no,
you. So
100%.
that's just how it operates.
I didn't even bother to give you the eyes for it.
And
You
the
know, it's like, please, please.
Fastest one in is of course, the cheetah that's out there.
Cheetah. What a cheetah.
Now, we're going to stay in the animal vein of things as we go into our food for thought. And we're actually going to talk about a gazelle or a deer-like creature that lives in Africa and is known as the African impala.
Impala. Why didn't I think about
The
that? I
African
made car names
impala
after them.
would not have made this list.
No.
But what the African impala has that these other creatures don't is an amazing gift of athleticism.
Okay.
So the African impala can jump to a height of over 10 feet tall. It can cover a distance in one leap of over 30 feet.
Wow.
So you imagine, like, that is just this crazy. And these animals are literally, like, the tallest they get is like 39 inches tall. So they're
Wow.
barely 3 foot,
Yeah.
jumping over 10 feet,
10 feet.
jumping, leaping over 30 feet. I mean, they're
It's outstanding.
incredible animals. Now, these are actually, you see them populated in zoos all over the place. Now, if you were to put one of these animals in the zoo, how do you think you'd need to contain them?
At least 11-foot tall fence and
And a moat
a
that's
40-foot distance between that.
That is exactly what you think. But there's something about these magnificent creatures. They can actually be contained with just a 3-foot tall solid fence.
Why? Explain it.
They have within them, they will not jump if they cannot see where they're going to land.
Okay.
There's a genuine fear. They need to know what the end game is going to be when they get out there.
Okay.
Now, I think people have been listening to us enough. They've heard me enough to know exactly where we're going with this
Most
illustration. These animals are limited by the fear of the unknown. Like, imagine like how many are right now being contained in a zoo when all they have to do is lean on the God-given talents that they have.
Yeah.
And boop, they could be out in the streets of New York, no problem.
They need to watch Madagascar.
Who's going down Broadway? Yeah, they need to watch the documentary Madagascar and find out how all the
multi-series documentary.
But I think these animals best portray what the average Christian probably deals with on a day-to-day basis, where we are limited. We have this unlimited force, this unlimited spirit that within us. The same spirit that lives within us is the same one that helped raise Jesus from the grave.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get crazy Pentecostal on it, but there's a lot that we have going for us that we don't tap into.
Yeah, for sure.
And yet
we limit ourselves.
We don't jump because we're afraid or we don't know what the other side is going to be.
Yeah.
And we have this great comforter who's there to help us through the process. Almost, I think of it, what's the best way? You know those Red Bull commercials?
Yes.
Annoying.
Ugh.
They say Red Bull gives you wings.
Give you wings.
And then they're able to do, like in the commercials, they're able to do these. It's almost like I kind of see that. Like if we just take the leap, like we have someone who'll be there to help us in the landing. It might be a rough landing.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be without, if we're moving in God's will, we'll be okay on the other side.
Either way, it's all going to work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave you a verse.
Yeah. Book of 2 Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control."
So I'm going to call you out a little bit. That one's highlighted in your...
Yes.
And I
see
some underlining.
Yeah, I do it all.
Share with me the process there. Like what highlights did you make in that?
So I have the entire verse itself and the verse before highlighted, which we'll dabble into, I think, in a minute. But a big thing for me is circling not of fear, because God is not a God of confusion. He's not a God of, giving us or instilling us just straight fear. But he gives us this power. He gives us this power through love that enables us to have that self-control and to be able to kind of reel our mind back in, like, hey, I'm with God, and with God I can do all things, right? Mm-hmm. And, within his will. And so, I try to break down verses, not too much, but to circle important parts. That's like, okay, that stands out. Mm-hmm. That's what you're putting emphasis on. Because quite frankly, I don't know if you've ever seen the meme. If you go to highlight the important things in the Bible, you're highlighting every single line, every single word. Yeah, so that. I really get caught in that, like, okay, I'm highlighting a little too much here. It's getting a little redundant. Circle, star, underline, squiggly line, things like that.
Yeah, so I love that.
Try to mark it out.
That's what I want people to know. Like, you're invested. Now, I find when I do my Bible, I have very limited notes and very limited things on that. I think because when I started at one time in my life, I just ran out and it just became so small and dark. I need to get back into that.
It's fun. I love it.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Active,
I always love looking over
interactive reading.
It's funny you mentioned the whole highlighting. Like you pull the page before it, it's practically all
stars
highlighted.
And circles. Yeah,
it is funny though. Like when you really start getting into God's word, you're like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
Ooh. Even then, Bible college taught me, like, look at the repetitive words. Yeah. Look at the nouns that they're using. When they use he, who are they talking about, right? We just assume they're talking about this person, but it could be a completely different context that we're missing.
Yeah, you have to take the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, in this format, like we're doing on the podcast, we're very limited in what we're going to expound upon. So obviously, we're going to hit highlights of verses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think maybe down the road we might take a journey through a book or something like that. Maybe
that'd
we'll
be
do
cool.
something on the side.
That would be neat.
But for now, this is where we're at. Okay, I gave you another one. I'll give you some time to turn to it.
Boom.
And this is, whoa, you are so good. Your sword drill skills are amazing.
Hey, put me in battle.
Speaking of which, have you ever done a sword drill?
Never.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's like when it's okay. I don't want to make myself sound like a fool, but
No,
I think
I
it's
wanna
like when
hear it.
you
Everyone-
guys are there and you're like, all right, 1, 2. It's kind of like the old Western when you pull out the gun.
Okay.
Or no, or is that when they have like the suits on and they're like piercing each other?
He's on the right track.
Yeah, I'm
So,
getting there.
Mayor Rob, you know what I'm talking about with sword drills.
You have like a classroom. I mean, you can have two
In
people
reference
technically,
to-
but you could have your Bible in the air.
There we go. So, what I'm talking about when we're talking about in church context, now what you're talking about is fencing, and with the Summer Olympics coming up, I get it. Fencing,
Right on.
we have the whole thing. So in church or Sunday school, we have sword drills, and I know my wife still does it in her Sunday school classroom. And you have to hold the Bible up. You have to hold it up by the joint, by the bind. What is this called?
Binder.
the binder. So you hold up by that. That way you can't hold your little finger in and try to cheat.
Okay.
And the teacher will call out Isaiah 41:10, and the class repeats Isaiah 41:10, and everyone applauds out there. So, and then she says, and go. And you pull your Bible down in the first kid to get to Isaiah 41:10. And it's a great way to kind of teach you where all the different books
I
are.
definitely
and stuff like
I
that.
cheated. I'm not going to lie, but it's okay.
Yeah, you had that. Well, and now you know what a
there.
sword drill is.
That is a sword drill.
Now you get
I'm
it,
aware.
the sword of
The sword. Yeah,
there we go.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
All right, Isaiah 41:10.
41:10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand."
All right. So, I mean, just a beautiful, fear not, for I'm with you. And I notice it's not highlighted.
Not
I'll
highlighted,
let
but
you know
underlined.
when you get back, when you get home.
Well, yeah, I'll do that. I'll
make sure you highlight that.
Did you notice he said with his right hand? He's not left-handed.
He's not.
He's right-handed.
righteous right hand. He's got a highlighter. Is that a Bible highlighter? Do you just happen to bring with you?
It's
Just
one
sitting
of
over
ours, I think, from the youth group room.
You do have to be very careful which highlighter you use in your
This is
Bible.
true. This is very true.
So that's the ultimate thing is, the key. We have the key to overcoming fear.
Yeah.
We just need to take that leap, like that jump out there.
Big
And many people don't understand the power that they have because they don't spend time to lean in on it.
Yeah.
And they don't
Attaching
go
themselves
after
to
it.
the Lord.
And unless you've experienced it, you have no idea
Yeah.
the power that is at your disposal.
And you're sitting at the power or bounded by the power of the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And, when we fear the unknown, we tend to just stay still, and we're not letting God do everything He can do.
So many examples in life of just letting things hold. Like last year I was walking through. One of my sons was figuring out where he wanted to go to school in college, and that's a terrifying. And just about every person, most people have experienced something like that next phase. Like you go through life, early on, and you get through the high school, and everything's laid out for you. Like, okay, you're going to go to school, you're going to go to high school, and then the next phase, are you going to go into the workforce, or are you going to go to college? And there's that big major, scary point for a lot of people, and they don't know exactly which direction to go, which one does. And this is where you get to, what is God's will for my life in that direction? And I always tell them, look, where you are, there you are. Like, serve God where you're at. That's God's will for your life. That's the simplest, most easiest way to explain it. Love the Lord with all your heart and love other people.
Yep.
And you do that where you're at, you're in God's will.
Yeah.
So they're waiting for some great divine revelation or the right piece of mail.
All you got to do is walk in step with the Lord.
Yeah.
And if you continue to do that, you're faithful to that, He will reveal those things in certain ways that He just does. And not every way is going to be the same.
And we just recently talked about in one of the sermons about courage and the importance of courage in the believer. Courage is not the absence of fear.
Yeah.
Courage is taking that step in spite of the fear.
Yeah.
Like, we can be fearful and uncertain of the next steps, but we have someone who gives us the courage. We have someone who knows the next steps that we can lean on.
Yep.
I mean, this all comes back. Like, I don't know how people do it without God, because can you imagine the uncertainty of your future, not knowing what's going to happen? Like, we don't know what next week's going to hold.
People love to try to have that control over themselves where they determine what's going to happen next. And then when it doesn't happen, then the end of the world is here.
It never
and
works
then
out.
it's back to square one, and it's taking 2 steps forward, 5 steps back every time.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that Paul gave the instruction like this to Timothy, and even in the book of Isaiah, having this instruction, because think of Timothy. Timothy's one of my guys too. He was going into Ephesus. He was, fresh in there. He's the overseer of God's word. Ephesus. Ephesus. I say it differently every time.
You did say it differently.
But I did say the verse before says, Paul says to fan into flame the gifts of God which is in you, and he's basically saying like, yo, be bold. Okay, you're going into this place. He's reminding him why he trusts in him for this job, that he's the man for the task, and he says, be bold. And the same thing with having courage. Like, right, be bold, have the courage, and trust in the Lord.
That line, fan into flame the gift of God. So that's huge.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up. There's such a powerful thing in that. It's like, hey, you have this
there.
Like just use it, stir it up a little bit, like give it a little juice.
Yep, 100%.
And you won't. And then he says, "Fear not." Like you get that thing going. Like God's giving this to you. Let's go. Is what he's saying.
It'll be an example of sincere faith. Like if you are truly having your faith in the Lord, and you recognize that, hey, my fear can be a hindrance to my faith. I'm going to take control of that and let the Lord take control of that, but trusting in him, having sincere faith. I mean, he'll do the work in you like he did in Timothy. He will make things happen if you just trust in him.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
I like that. Fear not. So that I think that's a great devotional for episode number 10. There we go. And I want to continue on with the animal things. You said to me when we talked about doing animals, you had a unique animal fact you wanted to share with me.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you put it that way. A unique animal fact. So I had two stories. I'm like, which one do? I don't know. It's interesting when we go into these things and we're not sure exactly what we're bringing to the table in each other's mind. But I have a dolphin story.
I like dolphins.
I like dolphins too, although they are pretty scary. I haven't swam with dolphins, but I watched dolphins off of a boat.
Okay, so I had an experience. Joyce and I went on a vacation. I forget how many. It feels like way too long ago. Side note, babe, we need to go on another vacation. So we didn't do the swim with dolphins. We did the sit down while the dolphins come up to you.
Gotcha, yeah.
kind of thing. So you get to pet them. They kiss you on the cheek.
Yeah.
Fascinating animals. I love dolphins. All right, so tell me more.
They're pretty a playful in nature kind of animal. But in 2004, there's a guy named Rob Howes. I think I said it right. Okay. And he went swimming
Probably not.
Sorry, Rob. But he went swimming with his daughter and a couple friends. They were off of the coast of the North Island in New Zealand.
Okay.
And so they found themselves encircled by bottlenose dolphins. And they repeatedly slapped their tails, and they were trying to prevent the group from swimming away from them.
Okay.
Now, when Rob tried to move and he tried to leave the cluster of dolphins, they were herded back by two bigger dolphins. And just before he spotted a 3 meter long great shark.
How long?
Great white shark. I'm sorry. 3 meters is 3 meters long.
So meter is almost 3 feet. So you're looking at a 9 foot.
About 3 feet. Yeah. So you know the math. You know how to
ish.
Yeah, ish. Kind of. Yeah.
It's around 9 foot.
But I'm talking about a great white shark. I don't care if that thing is 1 foot long. It is a great white shark.
It doesn't matter. So they were protecting him from.
So long story short, the shark is heading towards them, and they encircled them for about 40 minutes.
Really?
Until it left. Yeah. I don't know what's more impressive, the 40 minutes of the dolphins or the 40 minutes of them staying in the water.
Yeah, right.
I'm wrinkled up by then. But apparently dolphins adapt this tactic to protect their young against, enemies and danger. So it seems like they wound up saying, hey, we're going to use those tactics to protect these humans.
That's so cool.
I think it's pretty neat. But if you want to tie a spiritual element to it, you got the Lord who is always protecting us, right? And
God is your dolphin.
There was nothing but fear in that moment, but they trusted in the dolphins. So let's trust in God like they trusted in dolphins.
Sounds to me like he didn't trust in the dolphin. That dolphin had to pull him back in. Can you imagine being there and be like, for 5 minutes? This is awesome.
Yeah.
For about 10, 20 minutes, you're like, okay, guys, that's cool. That's great. Yeah, leave me alone now. Come on. Yep. All right, that's very nice. And then right there, you're like, oh, that's fin out there. That's not one of you guys over there.
I don't think I could doggy paddle for 10 minutes, let alone 40.
But that was a follow-up question: is how deep in the water were they? I'm assuming they're out there, probably, because if the dolphins are swimming around them and making noise,
they're about 100 meters away from shore.
Even your meters. I can tell this is a New Zealand story. Using all these technical terms.
So 100 meters would be
meters. it's a little bit more than 300 feet because a meter's a
So
little
they're about
longer
a
than that.
little over 300
They're
feet
out
away
there. They're a
from
football
shore.
field plus
decent
out
away.
in the
Decent
water.
amount
So
of way.
it's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat that they, one, that dolphins do that. I know all animals have their little tactics
There's
and
always
techniques.
there's always some random story in there. Dolphins are one of the smartest animals in the planet.
Pretty neat. Pretty
so
scary,
they
too.
are-
Like, if you really get,
Yeah.
a deep sea picture of a dolphin, it's
I'm-
freaky.
Listen, I love the ocean, love swimming, but always in the back of your mind, it doesn't matter if I'm in a lake. In the back of my mind, there's a great white shark out
Something
there.
out there,
ready to
yeah.
get
I don't even care how deep I am.
A couple
It's
years
there.
ago, we went boating with my buddy in one of the lakes up in New Hampshire, and even then, you get in the water, you're like, what else is over here?
Yeah.
What else is here? I
Yeah.
don't really know this. Now, around us, we don't have to worry about anything. People down in Florida, they have a certain system to tell, like, you just have to worry about alligators down in Florida.
Right.
And they said there's an easy way to tell if there's an alligator in the body of water. And all you have to do is go up to the body of water, and they say, if it's wet, there's an alligator in it.
Yeah. Basically,
All right,
I
there we
abide
go.
by it 100%.
I do remember when I was really young visiting my grandparents down in Florida, and they lived in like some, old people community, which there's a million of them down there.
Yeah.
And there's just common knowledge. You don't walk around at night and stay away from this edge because the alligator's going to be there. Sure enough, we saw it. It was one of the coolest things ever. And as a 10-year-old boy, you know what you wanted to do?
You wanted to go try
Tap it
to
with
test
a
that
stick.
alligator,
Tap it with
yeah.
a stick.
Hey, at least they stay
I
consistent.
think back then we had Crocodile Dundee, so
Ooh.
R.I.P. All right, let's move on. Let's lighten up the mood here a
Lighten
little
up the
bit.
mood now.
And we have some animal jokes. We're going to share some animal jokes with each other because there's nothing greater than a laugh at an animal's expense. Do you have one you want to start off with?
Yeah, you ready for this?
I'm not ready, but let's do it.
What do you call a theme park with only giraffes in it?
No idea.
Giraffic Park.
Jurassic Park. That was well done.
This is gonna be bad.
I like that. Okay, here we go. Why do fish live in salt water?
I wish I could say I knew something to say.
No, because pepper makes them sneeze.
Okay. Okay, I didn't see that
That's
coming at all.
That's a good one.
That was
Oh
out
my
of left
goodness.
field.
All
another
right.
one?
Yeah, what's a polar bear's favorite song?
I don't know.
Ice, ice, baby.
Great song.
I'm done.
Great song. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Have you ever seen an elephant in a cherry tree?
That would be interesting. No.
No, because they're so good at it. And let me follow that one up. You don't see them hiding because they're so good at hiding in cherry trees. You don't get it. Why don't you see something hiding?
Because it's big?
Because they're good at it. If you're good at hiding, you won't find
got
it.
it.
That's why you never see one hiding in a cherry tree.
Okay,
He's
I
good
get
at
it.
it.
Okay. I'm like trying to envision an elephant in a cherry tree.
But you don't-
I just can't.
You
see
can't
it.
because they're good at hiding in
Yeah.
cherry trees.
Yes.
They're very good at hiding.
Yeah.
They're just that good of
Now,
hiders.
why,
Okay, I
why,
appreciate
did,
that joke.
why would an elephant paint his toenails red?
Oh.
So he can hide in cherry trees.
So he blends in.
My goodness.
What
Oh,
knowledge
my
do we have? We have nothing.
My goodness.
Hey, but
These
how
elephant
do
jokes.
how do birds prepare for tests?
I don't know.
They don't. They just wing it.
I should have known that one. Oh, my goodness. How do you know there's been an elephant in your refrigerator?
The milk is gone.
There's a footprint in the butter.
in the butter of all things.
like what happened there?
Oh.
man.
You love these elephant jokes.
Yeah, I appreciate elephants in general, so I do like the jokes.
There you go.
Why do jumping spiders jump?
I don't know.
Because humans are scary. Duh.
You ever hear this say they're more afraid of you than you are of them?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a
I
lie
say that
from
to my
most of
daughter all the
the time.
time, and
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
I
a
sometimes
big-
I believe it, sometimes I don't.
Big fat liar. Why do elephants paint their toenails red, blue, green, orange, yellow, and brown?
Oh, I'm trying to think of everything they can hide from with those colors. I don't know.
So they can hide in a bag of M&Ms.
It had to do with hiding. That's great. A bag of M&Ms. I'll take it. What's the easiest way to identify carpenter ants?
By their tools?
By their tool belts.
Ah,
But tools is good.
All
Tools
I
is
like
good.
it,
You're
I
right
like
on.
it.
You're right
No,
on.
That was good. That was good. I like that one. All right, I'm going to get off the elephant train here for a little bit. Why do gorillas have big nostrils?
So they can breathe all that air in that big body.
Because they have big fingers.
Hey,
That's a TV joke. You have to see that one to really appreciate that one.
What dog can run really fast and cook a mean spaghetti dinner?
Oh, I feel like I should know this one. What dog?
An Italian Greyhound. Come on,
Very
pasta.
nice. I
Oh,
like it. I like it.
That one.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Why are fish so smart?
All that H2O.
When I say you
Something
guys
else
know.
school,
It
something
is
else
because
school.
they live in
Oh,
schools.
live in schools. Why
They
did I know
live
that?
in schools.
I automatically went to water for some reason. I don't know. What animal knows the metric system? You
Yeah,
know this. You know this.
Not you.
Not me, that's for sure. A centipede.
Centipede. Very nice. I like that one. Where do polar bears vote?
Ooh, I don't know.
The
ice
North
box?
Pole.
Oh, go to the pole. Come on, Justin.
These things are great, but I have no idea.
Why were all the penguins laughing?
I don't know.
Because the emperor penguin had no clothes on. No clothes at all.
That's a throwback to that's a movie reference on that, right? The Emperor with no clothes.
The emperor with
That's
no clothes.
not a fairy tale. What would we call it? It's not a fairy tale. It's a story.
Short story, something.
Okay. What did the judge say when the skunk walked into courtroom?
This stinks.
Odor in the court. Odor in the court.
The Javel odor.
That one's all about delivery. You got to say that one
yeah,
the
you
right
definitely
way. All
got to
right.
deliver
Give
that
me
right.
one more, Justin. I'll give you one more, and we'll wrap this thing up.
All right. So why did the Gazelles forfeit their game? Because the other team's players were all cheetahs.
And what did we learn about cheetahs today?
They are the fastest.
There we
right?
go. They're the
land animal.
fastest land animal. And gazelles are right up in there.
Gazelles
They're
are
right
right there.
there. And I said we have to end up with. There we go. What sounds do porcupines make when they kiss? Ouch!
Oh yeah, right, because they're poking each other. That's great. Why, I don't know why I went with a pop.
I don't know why you went with a pop either.
I just think of the popping
they're
out.
the balloons?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Something
I don't
like that.
know. Yeah, I was thinking of a
Oh,
hedgehog.
that's right. Man, Rob, I'm going to give you a second to start thinking about what you learned today. What did you learn today?
So I learned that antelopes are like in the deer family, but it's not necessarily like a deer, but it's a fast deer-like animal.
It is a fast deer-like animal. And okay, Mayor Rob, what'd you learn today?
Along the lines of Justin, I learned that besides you, we don't know what the fastest animal was.
You guys
I
had
don't know a lot of animals. in general.
no idea. Now, to be fair, I probably could have gotten like 3 or 4 of them, and I would have all stayed in the African plains and all that kind of stuff. And it's not so much what I learned today, but I got refreshed today on the fan the flame. Fan the flame, verse 6. It wasn't even talked about. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Fan the flame of the gift of God. And when you do that, when you go into the process, have no fear.
And why can Timothy be so bold? Because God gave us not a spirit of fear, but
Right.
a spirit, a power, of love
Power.
and self-control.
Power. Love that passage. And very excited about that. This has been episode number 10. That's what I'm talking about. This is Making Light of It. I'm Sam.
I'm Justin.
God bless.